Good evening everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shashya Education Foundation Care. My name is Akshay Dave. Today I teach you rest of the ISRO Technician B ED or EC paper related to become Cyber Space Research Center. Okay, it's held on 2/6/2019. Okay. And before starting my lecture, I tell you related to about the how could I get inside the all these things related to ISR exams and the DRDO. First, I teach you on of related to ITI exam ITI papers exam papers. Then I teach you about the diploma, which is coming diploma and BSc, because diploma education is equivalent to BSc and the both are the syllabus same. Then I teach you about the BTech and MSc, because BTech and MSc syllabus is same in inside the electronics and communication engineering. Okay. Because I'm an ET engineer, so I teach you related to about the ET first. It's necessary, and so here I took the IT questions and I solved up till the question fifth in depth. So without wasting any time, let's start. Move on. Okay. Now let's see it here. What's question 6? What is most durable property for insulator? What is most durable property for insulator? Mr. Say, understand the question. They ask, what is the most durable property for an insulator? So the answer is the high dielectric strength. This is the most durable property related to an insulator. Okay. Why? Because more dielectric means more durable. More dielectric means more durable. The dielectric strength is high, means to say they are more durable from wear and tear. From wear and tear means to say any kind of physical, any kind of electrical damage related to them. Okay. Whenever electricity passes to an insulator, whenever electricity pass, for example, this is a part of wood. Okay. If you pass electricity to them, this is AC, the AC water, you take it. Okay. And AC doesn't have any polarity. What I would have, when you pass electricity to them, take the AC. Okay. Their electrons turn because of its dielectric strength. They mean to say, in any kind of element, whether it is matter, no matter, whether it is insulator, whether if it is semiconductor. Remember this thing. If you know about the valence band, band gap, conduction band. Okay, these are the three bands. So what would happen when you pass electricity to an insulator? The electrons tries to move inside any kind of element or matter or non-matter, whether it is semiconductor also. Remember this thing. Whenever you pass inside electricity to them, their outermost orbit. Just a minute. P or N. The outermost orbit electrons try to move firstly. Okay. This is an example. So what would happen whenever you pass electricity to insulator, the electrons torn because of its the electrons because of its high electric storm is to say they tries to move from valence band to conduction band, but they can't goes upward from the band gap. Yeah. Remember this property is related to every kind of insulator. They can't cover the band gap. They can't cover the band gap. That's why they can't conduct. The electrons don't because of its electric strength. No harm to an insulator because they jump, then they came back. They just then they came back inside the insulator. No harm to insulator when we pass electricity to them. So the high electric strength is the most desirable property related to an insulator. Now let's move on to the next question. And remember this question 6 is from material science. From material science. Remember this thing, okay? Now let's move on to the next. Now let's see it here. What is the question 7? Which of the following is an impact printer? So inside the impact printer, there is only one. There are 4 options they given inside there. I can't show it here, but the answer is dot matrix printer. Why? The answer is dot matrix printer because it prints using a fixed number of pins or wires. How could I explain you? If you see a typewriter before printers, a typewriter has these kinds of pins and hammers, right? Which is vertically means to say vertically after the keys. These are the keys. Okay. So whenever the typist switch the any key, that this is a paper. This is a paper. Just a minute. No, it's a paper. It's a paper. So whenever the typewriter strike any key, that letter prints on the paper. This is the same principle. Okay. So because it prints using a fixed number of pins or wires. Using a fixed number of pins or wires. Okay. Typically the pins or wires are arranged in one or several vertical columns. Arranged in one or several vertical arranged on the several vertical columns. Okay. Remember this thing. The dot matrix printer function is same as whatever the typewriter, but the only difference is this: that was electronic based printing machine, and this is a mechanically based printing machine. Okay, so what would happen? And but the principle is same related to the hammers and the keys. And then some of the keys related to the hammer means to say this principle except the keys. This principle is same inside the dot matrix printer. Okay, except the keys. Forget the keys. Okay, that related to the principle. Okay, related to the principle of working. The principle of working. Okay, so what would happen? Several vertical columns. There are several vertical columns. The pins strike on ink coated ribbon. Now there is a ink coated ribbon. If we see inside the cassettes or the VCRs cassettes, there is a tape of black tape that same principle you use inside the dot matrix printer. The that black tape is an ink coated, and because if you store any kind of song or any kind of movie, uh, this black tape will store it, any kind of movie, or it is any kind of song or any kind of information. So the pin strike or an ink coated ribbon. This is ink coated ribbon. Pin strike on ink coated ribbon and force contact between the ribbon and force contact between the ribbon and the paper. Force contact between the ribbon and the paper. So the ink strike on the so that the ink strike on the pin strike on the ink coated ribbon. So it strikes through the keys inside the typewriter. As you see, the mechanical that was a mechanical device. It prints with the help of ribbon, ink coated ribbon on the paper. Remember this. So the pins strike and ink coated ribbon and the force contact between the ribbon and the paper. Force contact between the ribbon and the paper. Remember this. Ribbon and the paper. So that each print makes a small dot. So each print makes a small dot. So several pins makes a image, or this makes information on the paper. Okay. Makes a small dot on the paper. The combination of these dots forms a dot matrix image. The combination of these forms a dot matrix image. It's true. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Now see it here. Previous question 7 is from computer fundamental C programming and C programming. If you say previous question is from the computer fundamentals, remember this thing. The question 7 is from the computer fundamentals, and this question is from the communication system. Communication system related to analog as the digital, because network topology is related to the telecom is came in the inside the properly telecommunication switching subject. So this is normally a communication system question. Which of the following is not a common network topology? The answer is daisy chain. Why? Because if a network of nodes increases in the if a number of nodes increases in the network, it can slow down the whole network. For example, this is the Wi-Fi, or I have to say the internet connection. This system operates the net connection. Okay, this is one system. If I connect 1, 2, on 3, or there is a 4 connection systems connected in series with one system, so it shares the hotspot, it shares the net connection to all the systems. And so what would happen the network slows down easily. So that's why the daisy chain is not a common network topology. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Now let's see it here. Question 9th is, which metal has the highest conductivity? The question is from material science. Remember this thing, everyone thought we to uh, uh, we touch chemistry inside the engineering, because we learn applied chemistry in some of the cases. When our diploma holder came to our degree inside, that person can't relate to can't relate to chemistry, but remember this thing inside material science, whether if you are related to mechanical, electrical, electronics, BSc, diploma, degree, whatever you are belonging, or others, MSc, inside material science, the whole chemistry and the whole physics involved inside the material science. Okay, now let's move on to the question, which metal has the highest conductivity? The answer is silver. Why? Because it defines the conductivity. Yes, silver defines the conductivity related to all other metals. Related to all other metals are compared against it. On a scale, for example, this is silver. If you read inside the 10th or otherwise the 12th strand also, silver, there is a conduction table. Inside the, if you see inside the Lakshmi Singh book of 10th related to chemistry, there is a physics, and first is silver. This is a conduction table, and the second is copper, and the third is gold. Then copper, gold, then platinum. I think it goes on like this. So what would happen from down to goes to upward? The conductivity increases. From upward goes to downward, the conductivity decreases. This is the conduction table. If I can't remember the whole conduction table, but the on a scale of 0 to 100, silver ranks 100. Silver ranks the 100 means is the best conducting element, with copper at 97. With copper at 97. Okay. Then gold at 76. So from the according to conduction table, from upward to down, if you go from upward to downward, the conductivity decreases. The from downward to upward, the conductivity increases. Okay. Now let's on to the next question. Now let's see it here. What is the 10th question? The 10th questions from the material science. Remember this. Okay. What is the 10th question? Which of the following insulators has a better capability to withstand high temperature? There are 4 options. I shown only the one option, the answering option. Which of the following insulators has a better capability to withstand high temperature? The answer is Teflon. Why? Because it resists to nearly all industrial chemicals and solvents. Because it resists related to temperature, because it resists to nearly all industrial chemicals and solvents. it correlates temperature. uh, it resists all the industrial chemicals and solvents. Okay, because it has a high coefficient of friction. It has a high coefficient of friction. High coefficient of friction. Mr. Say, because of friction, the heat increases. But it resists heat according to physics phenomena and laws. It uh, uh, when the friction increases like this, if you rub your hands, the heat increases. Okay, but it has the low coefficient of friction. Related to friction, it is also very best option related to high related to high temperature rest, rest, resistivity. Okay, because has a low coefficient of friction, means very less coefficient of friction. It is a super choice for applications. It is a means to say best choice for applications in which materials will slide against one another. Means, one another, and is often used for products that need an often used for products that need an anti-stick surface. Means to say it is a best option related to application in which the materials can't slide because it have low coefficient of friction. Materials can't slide. So if you inside see the back trees and the back trees like a 12-volt battery, big battery, they, they pile up upwards like this because it has low coefficient of friction. So super choice for application in which materials is slide against one another and is of one another and is often used for products that need an anti-stick surface. Often used for products that need an anti-stick surface. Uh, for example, inside bacteria, the outer surface made of Teflon, so it can pile up upward for one by one. So because of its anti-stick surface, okay, it has outstanding dielectric properties. It is true. It has outstanding dielectric properties that means stable with frequency and temperature. That means stable with frequency and temperature. This is the very important application related to Teflon. What happen if you see any kind of mobile or any kind of electronic device, any kind of electronic component related to any kind of electronic device like mobiles, their material outer bodies, it can stable with frequency. Means to say the outer body can't affected because of cause and because of as all these things, but uh, uh, this thing also applied inside the electrical phenomena. Why? You see also the batteries. Batteries means to say 12-volt battery. Their body is made up of Teflon because it can't affect with frequency. When it have excess of charge, it can't affect the frequency. Okay, and temperature also. If the temperature is also good, it resists ignition and does not promote the spread of flame. It resists flammable things, so it can't flames easily, can't burn easily, Mr. C. Now let's move on to the next question, question 11th. Now let's see it here. Uh, Before that, I tell you, question 10 is also from the material science. And this question is from the vertical mode is used for catching a single person oscilloscope. This question is from the measuring instrumentation. Okay. Now the answer is now let's see the question first. What trigger mode is used for capturing a single pulse in an oscilloscope? What trigger mode is used for capturing a single pulse in an oscilloscope? The answer is normal. For example, this is an oscilloscope. Cathode oscilloscope, all of you know about the CRO. Whenever you on the oscilloscope, there is some kind of frequency shown. This is 0, for example. There is some kind of frequency shown like AC. Okay, AC type of frequency shown. So whenever you on the oscilloscope, there is only normal frequency shown. Remember this. So that's the question. What did they ask? What trigger mode is used for capturing single pulse in an oscilloscope? Single pulse is for capturing a single pulse in an oscilloscope. This is a single pulse. Okay. So whenever you on the oscilloscope, this single pulse is shown because you just only on the oscilloscope, on that you can't operate it. So when you on the oscilloscope, this is the single pulse is which is called AC sort of square wave shown, which is counts in normal. Okay, so when you know on the oscilloscope, the only event happen as normal, and that trigger mode is called the single pulse in a single pulse mode, which is called the normal mode, because the reason is because if the single itself only occurs once, yes, it is true. Single itself only occurs whenever you on the oscilloscope. Okay, at the starting time, means to say, then you don't even need as a single trigger. Then you don't ever need as a single trigger, because when you on the oscilloscope and you start operating, that was not a single mode. Only on mode is only just single mode. When you start operating, that was not a single mode. Remember this thing. That was not a single mode. Single mode. Remember this thing. Then you don't even need as a single trigger mode. Okay, just a plain old normal trigger, which is called just a plain or normal trigger will do it, which is called the on trigger. This only updates the display after every trigger. This only updates the display after every trigger. Okay, remember this thing. Now let's move on to the next question. Now let's see it here. The question 12. T question. We solved it. Question 12. The root 27 minus root 12 plus 3 root 3. This question is from maths. This is the mathematical engineering. So the answer is 4 root 3 because root 27 equals to 3 root 3. Root 12 equals to 2 root 3. So the answer is simple. So root 27 is 3 root 3 minus root 12 is minus 2 root 3 plus 3 root 3, and the answer is 4 root 3. You can calculate it, you get the answer. Now let's move to the next question. Now 13th question is, which of the following configuration can give a battery of 6 volt 4 ampere per hour using cells rated at 1.5 volt to ampere per hour? Listen, what did they ask? They need 6 volt 4 ampere per hour, and we have 1.5 volt 2 ampere per hour battery, and he needs the rated of this. He can't, the question can't show how much batteries we have. Okay, so here are the simple formula. Whether if it is AC or DC, there is a simple formula I tell you. In parallel, voltage is same. Voltage is same. For example, you and current is different. Means in parallel or in series, current is same and voltage is different. This is a normal formula, whether if it is AC or DC is used. Alternate current, direct current, because you see it here. Because if you see inside the household, we have parallel connections. So we get 230 volt at every point in our house. Okay. Now let's we have 1.5 volt to ampere per hour battery, but the question they can't say how much batteries we have. We have countless batteries. Okay, for example. So according to the scenario, we need 6 volt 4 ampere per hour. Okay, as I told you, in parallel voltage is same. Okay, so here this is the circuit. We have 1.5 volt. So here 1.5 volt, here 1.5 volt, here 1.5 volt, here 1.5 volt. How much we have? 1.5 into 4, that's a total 6 volt. Here also 1.5 volt, here also 1.5 volt, here also 1.5 volt, here also 1.5 volt. Here also the total 6 volt. Okay, remember this, because 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5, the answer is 6 volt. So in parallel the voltage is same. So the he saw the from voltage he got the 6 volt. Now comes to ampere. In parallel, as I already said you, current is different. Okay, and we need 4 ampere per hour. Okay, remember this thing. Here 1.5 I solved it, and we have 2 ampere per hour. Okay. Here's 2 ampere per hour. Here's 2 ampere per hour, and here's just a minute. Here is 2 ampere per hour, and here is 2 ampere per hour. So the total ampere is in series. The total ampere is, I remember this thing in series. Voltage is different, but the ampere is same. Remember this thing. So we solve the 6 volt scenario. So the calculation of for series battery ampere is 2 ampere. So the question is solved here. Here also the 2 ampere per hour. Here also 2 ampere per hour. Here also 2 ampere per hour. Here also 2 ampere per hour. So the total here also is, because in series the ampere is same, current is same. Here is also 2 ampere per hour. But in parallel current ampere is different. So in parallel 2 ampere per hour plus 2 ampere per hour, we get 4 ampere per hour, as you see it here. We get the answer also 4 ampere per hour. So according to the question, we get the answer is 2 parallel rows of forces. 2 parallel rows of forces. These are the forces. These are forces, and these are in parallel rows. Now let's move to the next question. The question solved. Okay, and this question is from, remember this. This question is from the principles of electrical. I have to say the electrical engineering, electrical part. Okay, now let's on to the next question. And this is a question number 14. Find the effective resistance of the circuit. The circuit indicate here. First of all, we have two parallel resistances here. This one and this one. Okay. So first notice the circuit. Here's 50 ohm. Here's parallel 100 ohm. Here's 100 ohm. Here's 200 parallel 200 ohm, and here's 300 ohm. Okay. All of you indicate the circuit. Okay. Now let's move on. Ohm, 100 means to say this is also 50 ohm. And here is 100 ohm. 20 means to say 100 ohm. This is also 100 ohm. 300 ohm, and here it is gone like this. Okay, how could this is 50 ohm, this is, and how could this is 100 ohm? I tell you simple formula of electrical engineering. The because here it is 100 parallel, and here it is 200 parallel, 200 parallel ohm. Okay, because here and here, see, yes, now indicated according to Ohm's law, the parallel connection formula is first take this. Parallel connection formula is 1 by R dash equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. 1 by R1 R dash is equal to 1 by 100 plus 1 by 100 plus 1 by 100. The answer is 1 by R dash is equals to 100, because 1 plus 1 is 2 and the LCM is 100, so we took 100, and 1 plus 1 is 2 by 100 ohms. If we took the 2 by 100, just a minute, 2 by 100 space 2 by 100 ohms, 2 by 100 ohms, 1 by R dash equals to, answer is 200 to 5 times 50 ohm. 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 50 ohm. So the R dash equals to 50 ohm. The same principle applied it here. Related to 200, which is a parallel, we get the answer is 100. 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 200 plus 1 by 200 ohms. 1 by R dash equals to, the LCM is both 200 is 200. Okay. The 1 plus 1 equals to 2 by 200. The 1 by R dash equals to 2 by 100 ohms, right? 2, which is called the 1 by 100. We simplify it, 1 by 100. R dash equals to 100 ohms. Okay, so we put it here, the 100 ohms here. So we put it here, the 100 ohms. Okay, now let's solve the equation here. Now see this. This is in series and this is in series. First solve this. In series, resistance formula is R equals to R1 plus R2. So if we add 50 plus 50 is 100. Just a minute. If we add 50 plus 50 is 100. Okay. Just a minute. The proper 50 plus 50 is 100. 100 ohms. And if we have 100 plus 100 in series, which is called R1 plus R2 in series, we get 200. 200 ohms. Okay. Then here we put it There are 100 and 200 ohms, and here the 300 ohms also. 300 ohms. Now see it here. This 100 ohm and this 200 ohms are in series. Remember this thing. This 100 ohm and this 200 ohm are in series because electrons go from the negative to positive. So it will be from the left hand to right. If you go from left hand to right hand, not left hand, not right hand to left hand to right hand. According to electrons move from negative to positive. So according to this scenario, both are in series 100 and 200 ohm. So the 100 plus 200 means 300 ohm. This is like this. Both are in series. You have to do not like if you can't understand it, you have to mold the figure. Just a minute, I tell you how. You have to mold the figure. The figure is like this. If you read in electrical, the figure is like this. 200 ohm and this is in parallel. 300 ohm is in parallel, so it will goes like this. And the circuit is like this. Okay, this is 300 ohm and this is 100 ohm. Both IC is 100 plus 200 is equal to 300. This is called the circuit. 100 and 200 are in series. So the answer is 300 ohm. Sorry, here is 300. So we took both the sum are 300 ohms, and this resistance also solved, and here 300 ohms still remaining, like in this position because it is in parallel. Okay, this resistance also 300, and the parallel resistance formula is 1 by R dash equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Okay, 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 300 plus 1 by 300. Okay. One by 300 plus 1 by 300, 1 by R dash equals to 300 LCM, and the 1 plus 1. 1 by R dash equals to 2 by 300. 2 by 300. So 202, 202, 2 5 10. So the answer is 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 150. See this first, then I rub it. One by R dash equals to 1 by 150 ohm. 1 by R dash equals to 1 by 150 ohm. R dash equals to 150 ohm. So the answer is R equals to 150 ohm. R equals to 150 ohm, which is called the normal. Okay. So the answer is 150 ohm as I indicated. This is the answer. I already tell you. Now let's move on to the next question. Now today's and the last question is electrical, which is called the question 14 is from the electrical. This is from the electrical. Now the today's lecture is ends it's here. Tomorrow I saw the more questions related to say ISR or technician B tooth related to Vikram Sarabhai, which is held on 2/6/2019. And the second thing is I have to tell in हिंदी. लोगों को ये प्रॉब्लम आती है कि इनफैक्ट कि मेरा चैनल जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ इंग्लिश में पढ़ा रहा हूँ, हिंदी में नहीं पढ़ा रहा. दैट इट्स ओके फाइन, क्योंकि कई लोग हिंदी में सुनना पसंद करते हैं और हिंदी में जानना पसंद करते हैं. तो भैया इंजीनियरिंग हमने की क्यों है कि ताकि हम अपना स्टेटस बरकरार रख सकें, ताकि हम सोसाइटी में कुछ अच्छा कर सकें, राइट. तो मैं हिंदी में वीडियो बहुत वेर बनाता. इवन जो जितने भी ITI से रिलेटेड पर्सन्स हैं, जो ITI पास आउट्स हैं, और जो मेरा जो सिनेरियो है, मैंने पहले ITI किया, देन डिप्लोमा किया, देन डिग्री किया. यह है मेरा सिनेरियो. तो इनफैक्ट इस किसी को प्रॉब्लम होता है कि यार आप इंग्लिश में पढ़ाते, हिंदी में नहीं पढ़ाते, बिकॉज मेरा टारगेट इंडिया नहीं है, इंडिया से बाहर इंटरनेशनल लेवल के स्टूडेंट्स भी हैं. ठीक है, ऐसा कि नहीं. हाँ मैं जानता हूँ कि ITI पर्सन्स की इंग्लिश वीक होती है, उनको इंग्लिश नहीं आती है. इट्स ओके फाइन, बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इज हाउ कुड यू डू. And second thing is this, I also gonna start मैं एक हिंदी चैनल पे स्टार्ट करूँगा, जो कि बहुत ज़रूरी है. हो सकता है कोई लैंग्वेज डब सॉफ्टवेयर हो जिसको मैं डाउनलोड करके अपनी वीडियोस को एडिट करके इंग्लिश में रिप्रेजेंट कर सकूँ, सॉरी हिंदी में रिप्रेजेंट कर सकूँ. सो आई एम ऑल्सो ट्राइंग इन हिंदी ऑल्सो, डोंट वरी. और इन बिटवीन भी शायद मेरा एनालॉग या फिर EDC पूरा होने पे मैं मैराथन लेक्चर स्टार्ट करूँगा, जो कि हिंदी में होंगे, इंग्लिश में नहीं, हिंदी में होंगे मैराथन लेक्चर्स, ताकि लोगों को समझ में आ सके. मैराथन लेक्चर्स मीन्स टू से आपका एक टॉपिक पे पूरा एक कंप्लीट 1 आवर्स या फिर 2 आवर्स का लेक्चर. ठीक है, तो मैराथन लेक्चर भी स्टार्ट करूँगा. तो अगर किसी को प्रॉब्लम है कि सर हमें इंग्लिश समझ में नहीं आता है, तो आप कमेंट से बोल सकते हैं. ठीक है. माय नेम इज अक्षय दवे. आई एम एन इलेक्ट्रिकल एंड टेलीकम्युनिकेशन इंजीनियर. प्लीज लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब माय चैनल शशि एजुकेशन फाउंडेशन केयर. नमस्ते, गुड नाइट, थैंक यू, प्रणाम, राधे राधे.